Um, Toughest part?
Like, say, is it like directing the actual actors, or is it more the camera movement? Is it the what you want it to look like?
Honestly, bro, I think really the toughest part is to remembering hit record most of the times.
Oh damn!
Oh,
Yeah, welcome one, welcome all to the NewCrown podcast. I am Darryl,
And I'm Phil.
wasn't just told us.
and we got a special guest today. We got my boy Ali, Mr. MMA himself.
Yeah,
Hey, Mr. MMA, not just yet, you
Not
know.
just yet, not just one day,
One day, inshallah,
inshallah, and still.
and undefeated, undisputed, bro.
Let's go. Well, speaking of fighting, we're currently making a combat combat a fighting sort of action film.
Short action film, bro. Just say it clearly.
I guess short action film. I mean, yeah, it is relatively actiony. So I just wanted to ask you, what do you guys think? Well, both of you actually. What do you guys think about the actual fight choreography and the process of actually
From
creating the?
when we started, like just from like when we were discussing the script and how the action and narrative beats were gonna play out in the beginning, it's kind of getting to what I imagined in my head. At first, I was kind of like nervous because I was like, okay, how are we actually gonna execute this?
Mhm.
But then just like over the past 2 weeks, like just having everybody bounce off ideas off each other, I felt like, bro, within the first 3 days, we kind of got a hold on this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's looking way better, and I'm kind of excited. I can't wait for people to actually see. Like
yeah.
my friends, and they're like, "Oh, is it like the ones you used to do back home?" I'm like, a bit more flow, not as much damage, because like the short films I used to make back home is like we would go through like wood tables and just
Yeah.
cardboard shit, like no,
right.
you know what I mean? Just like, hey, you're recording, okay, we're gonna do this once and it's done. You're
Yeah,
not gonna
traditional Hong Kong style filmmaking.
hurt my shoulder for the next week, so it
Yeah.
better be worth it.
Yikes.
But yeah,
Yeah.
well, how about you, Phil? What was your experience like in
So there was very much a almost like a comedy improv style of set
Mm.
in the way that we were just, shifting things to, accommodate or to, make sure that everything has, like you said, a flow.
Yeah.
It feels natural. So there was a lot of, on your feet thinking, a lot of, oh, let's change that now and let's go into something different. And
Yeah.
it's very much a collaborative process that was very fun to be a part of.
Yeah, I feel like that was the main goal that I was trying to create with everyone, is to have a fight sequence that wasn't just flashy, with a bunch of flips and random shit, but also have it like sort of be based off of actual combat and actual like technique. And
Mhm.
so having Ali, who's was a black belt in wushu.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, having a good experience background, it's a lot easier to sort of coordinate and create a complete choreography that doesn't look goofy and just
Yeah, honestly, I, like with wushu and like karate and taekwondo, a lot of those martial arts today, yes, they are watered down, but they do offer you a good sense of form and like theatrics. Or
yeah,
like, you see a guy like in the Olympics do like a wushu form with like either a sword or a staff.
yeah,
Holy shit! I don't know if that would be actually effective in a fight, but it looks damn cool. You
yeah.
know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, I
What?
lucky, bro. Just having that background, just I like retrospect, like it kind of did help a lot. But
Mm.
when I was doing like my films, like back in the day, like I was just like, oh, just this punch looks good, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't understand. I was like, okay, it came from just like training, just days and in of just hitting that punch and making it like, form well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Right,
think I
right.
I think that's the biggest thing we wanted to like sort of perfect. Also, is the forms of each strike to make it look like it actually is realistic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 'cause
Right.
every character has like
A specific style of
specific style, and you kind of
Yeah.
want with that narrative. You want to like,
yeah.
explore why he fights a certain way. Even though
Mm.
it's like it's gonna be 3 minutes long, I feel like we did have a good emphasis
On styles.
on
Yeah.
styles and setting rules. Like, like this character, because of the way he is, he fights a certain way.
Yeah.
Right.
Way. So, and like staying within character through the fight, and having him do like choices or decisions that either reflect what he was before the fight or after the fight, I feel like were important. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
don't spoil the ending, but like, you know, like sticking to character is one of the funny things that happens at the ending.
Yeah.
I think that's crucial also as an actor, as well as when you're fleshing out your stunts.
Yeah.
You're also trying to think, does that work with the character that I'm supposed to become? Does that work with what's happening, but also what will happen with this character?
I guess I agree with that. I feel like it's also like give it a different approach to the fighting. You know what I mean? Having like one fighter be more boxing-ish style, the other one more sort of brawler, the other one more technical. It gives it a more variety of action moves. Whereas just if there's two players of the same style, I feel like it's just kind of like it mimics sort of the same thing, which is nice at the same time. But like if they're not like two masters, I guess it wouldn't look good. It would just sort of like
when I think of like two fighters or like any kind of choreography where it's the same style and it's just flashy nonsense back and forth, I think of like the Star Wars prequels.
Yeah.
There's no difference in any kind of like the sword fighting. It's just bop, 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 bop.
Yeah.
Well, your eyes just glaze over after a while.
Yeah.
Because they're lucky they have cool fucking light swords that you're distracted by. Because imagine like doing the same kind of lightsaber choreo with real swords. It wouldn't be to watch. You know what I mean?
That's what I was talking about last episode. We were talking about how VFX, often big companies use a large amount of VFX to just sort of mask the really sort of cheapness of their choreography or their storyline. So like in a sense, a lot of like for like the recent Star Wars and stuff is a good example where it's just like, really flashy swords and whatnot, but then the actual choreo is very like sort of 1-2 basic, you know what I mean?
There's a great YouTube channel. I think they're called Corridor Crew. They break down a lot of stunts and a lot of visual effects.
Yeah.
Like major Hollywood productions and even on TV shows. And they broke down the Star Wars Last Jedi duel between Kylo, the Mary Sue character, and a bunch of what was it? The Emperor.
The Emperor's henchman or whatever. Yeah.
It wasn't even the Emperor. What did they call him? The guy who died literally in the first like.
Yeah, his head severed.
Snoke.
Thank you. Yeah.
Snoke.
Emperor Coke. He got taken. And bro, that fight scene, like I remember watching it in the cinema. I was like, oh, what? That's cool. That was the best Star Wars lightsaber fucking fight I've seen in my life. And then like I rewatched it again, and then like I try to see what the stunt guys in the back are doing, and it's just nonsense. There's nothing makes sense. Like swings this way, and the guy behind him is like, oh shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's no. Like it's just flashy nonsense, like you said. It's just the lightsabers are just masking how bad the actual choreo is, with the music and the camera moves. Because like it's just like the Bourne Legacy movies. Bro.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's kind of just shaky cam. You really don't see what's happening, and people think, yes, that's good action. You know?
It's really
like,
edgy. It's really edgy.
Yeah.
But also, like I find it funny too how like in most, I guess, on high budget films where you see the actual choreography go on, and you could tell when. There's a question I wanted to ask to you guys also is whether or not having a background in some sort of martial arts or in dancing could be is a must to actually perform well in an action scene. Because in most high end film, for example, sometimes you could tell when the actors are not good like they're not sort of proficient at action scenes because they're ready for the next beat before the actual next beat happens. You know what I mean? They're like already like setting up for the next like step before the actual step happens. And you can tell.
You kind of don't want it to end up looking like a dance.
Exactly.
Even though there's already choreo moves in place. You want, like we were talking about earlier, you want this sense of flow. You want you don't want the audience to predict the next punch or the next kick. You want to just react to it. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel like in at least you need in one of the stages of developing the fight, you need some guy with some expertise in at least one area of martial arts, because when nobody has any idea of how combat is supposed to look like, then you're going to enter I don't want to name names, but then you enter this fantasy realm of just like moving ridiculously. And it's like, not only would that not work in real life, even though we're not trying to shoot real life, we're trying to shoot like
a film,
drama, but that wouldn't even look good on drama. Like people don't want to see that. You know what I mean? Like there has to be like at least some level of background knowledge where you can like apply it to the real world or to like any real kind of combat. You ever watch like a movie and you're like, oh my god, that was pretty cool, and then you watch UFC and like your fighter does that and you're like, that's how it would be applied in real life. You know what I mean? Like so I think someone in along the stages of the development of the process, there has to be at least somebody who knows some background. You know what I mean? Because when they don't, I feel like it falls apart way too quickly, and you could get distracted and like, oh, what did we try this move, or what did we try that move? It's like
someone to at least oversee the natural flow of combat, at least somewhere in the production. I agree with that. I think, however, for an actor, that's like case by case.
They don't need it, I
feel like also I would almost say the contrary. In some cases, your instincts go against you in choreographies. I can attest to that.
It's really annoying whenever you're trying to say like, okay, kick him, but he actually kicks him for real. Like his fight or flight response comes in, kicks him for real. I was like, no, don't actually kick him.
No, don't hurt the actor.
Usually guys who've done like stunt coordinators or stunt people who've done like martial arts in their history, they have a good sense of like what do you call it?
Space?
Spatial awareness.
So they're aware of how much they need to generate power to deliver a kick or to stop the punch literally an inch away from your face. You know what I mean? Most of the times most of the guys who are not usually trained, they're the ones who make mistakes and actually hit you in the fight scene. So you ever watch like actor fucking reels or like
where the actors punched you in the face or like I mean in Creed they had to simulate a real punch. And Michael B. Jordan got knocked out. Well, I don't think he actually got knocked out, but he actually got hit.
He got hit bad,
hit by an actual boxer, and the boxer like took him down. People thought he got knocked out.
There, bro. I don't know if this guy wants to be like just taking hits. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure it's a movie, bro. You can find a way to fake it. You shouldn't be getting knocked out for real, like.
Because Stallone was like, "Oh, this is like a perfect hazing moment, or like an initiation to the Rocky franchise," and so he hit him.
Bro, that's not it, bro. Like
he hit him with that right hook, bro. Dropped him.
I saw that. I saw it and I thought he got knocked out, but at the same time, I'm like, he's an actor. He could be acting. You know what I mean? Like,
no, but because there's a footage behind the scenes where they were talking about in interviews where Stallone was like, "Oh yeah, in order to sort of see what he's got, for example, he's like, yeah, he got punched for real by a real boxer in the face, and then he took it."
And Stallone just was like, "Yo, Creed, come here," you know. And he just starts like pounding shots on him. It's like, "Yo, did we get the footage?" And like Rocky's like, "No, we weren't even filming. I just wanted to fuck with you. I just wanted."
Speaking of that, how was the warm up when you guys get stepped on, get fucking punched in the stomach?
Yeah, let's talk about that. We have a grueling workout for this production, which
I'm not gonna lie, bro. The workout is harder than the actual fight.
The actual fight,
Oh, sorry. No, why are we calling it a workout?
The warm out.
The warm is more intense than the choreo. Like,
it's more than a warm up, man. It's by the end.
But I think it's a good thing, no, because ultimately, sort of, you climb that hill, now it's just smooth sailing.
Oh, definitely.
We should film the warm up instead. I think that'd be like.
I think the stunt coordinator will get arrested for assault if that would happen.
But I've enjoyed the challenge of our stunt coordinator who's been making us do this workout every time, and I almost look forward to it in a sense.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Bunch of masochists.
Our work and pads, like actually just getting thrown through shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was thinking of having like what's his name? Well, GF is our stunt coordinator. Having him sort of come in like mid shoot and just fucking run someone over like a stunt, like a stunt.
Stunt. That's the assault on set.
You know the scene where Well, there's a scene where someone gets tackled down onto the ground, and so basically that scene, it's just a real big dude comes out of nowhere.
Do it. That would be hilarious.
Oh my god!
We have a team that has some knowledge sprinkled throughout for such types of stunts that we're doing that allows us, like, we have the whole process down to a level, you know, like we have the one we just mentioned, JF. We have Ali, who's got his black belt. We've got like quite a couple of people with some degree of experience in the subject.
So yeah, it's a good collaboration for the actual film itself.
Yeah,
I'm curious because I asked this to Hugo. I think I also asked this to Sammy. I asked you to Phil, obviously. What do you think of my directing style? Like the sort of flowy, sort of bring your ideas in.
I love it because at the end of the day, you like, even though you're very like flexible to people's ideas, you still have your core goal in mind for the scene or what you want the beat to be.
Yeah.
You'll be like, okay, I'm down to change this as long as what I want this scene to be that's being achieved. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, I've worked with directors who are very like, nah, we're sticking to a shot list. We're sticking to what I said. And it's like their film is in their head and they're just trying to get it out. And that's cool. But also I love working with people who are, you know, open and like to delegate tasks and like to bounce off ideas off one another. Because at the end of the day, it's like, it is supposed to be a group effort. You know what I mean? It's not one guy running the show, because at the end of the day, when the film's amazing, like, even though one dude usually gets all the credit, it's because of all these amazing people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, no, chill, bro. It's I respect it, and don't change. Don't be a fuck.
What's his name? Peter Berg. Peter Berg was his name. You basically sort of, if you don't say stuff, if you don't do it the way he wants it, he starts hazing you and shit. He starts throwing shit at you.
Bro, speak of a legend, bro. The guy who did The Shining. Why am I figuring it? Kubrick, bro.
Kubrick, yeah.
Like torture his actresses, bro. It's like he would scare them into like not wanting to act again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cameron did the same thing with Kate Winslet for Titanic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every director has like that one thing. Like,
we're all fucked up in the head.
Yeah. One of us.
But yeah, I was talking about this to both Phil and Hugo, because well, their style is very much like the former, where you're talking about how they sort of have an idea in their heads and they want to stick to the idea.
Very methodical and planned out.
Which I find it's a good way to do stuff, and more like it's quick and you really know what you want, so it's not like you don't, like, the pre-prod is the hardest part, and then the prod will be sort of just like actually replicate. Whereas because me, I'm sort of like because I already have a film in my head, but I just don't like, I already watched it like 100 times, so I want to see something new.
You want to see the best version of that film possible.
Exactly. So I have like the general idea of what I want, but I don't want it to be exactly like that because I've already seen it. I'm like, well, if it's that, then fuck it. I don't know. What's the point? I sort of want to see what other people bring to the table and see like, oh, yo, maybe this could work. This could work. This could work. So initially, for example, there's a flip in our scene in our film where it's sort of like, it's grandiose. Before, it used to be like a judo flip where it's sort of like to the side. Now it's more of a what do you say, Fast and Furious James Wan type flip.
It's like a WWE wrestler. We basically just did the,
which I find hilarious because Sammy initially hated it, but now he loves it and he just can't wait to fucking do it.
He was scared of it at first, but now
pads, bro. Now he has the pad work. He can land on his back properly. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's why he loves it. He's like, yo, I'm out here, bro. Let's do this fucking flip every single time.
Honestly, for Sammy, the workout, or the
warm up,
you know, the beginning little stages with JF were kind of like a hazing ritual for him.
Yeah.
As being a guy who used to be in a frat, that was very like, not PTSD, but like it's like, you know, like when the
nostalgic.
A familiar feeling.
He's the dad disciplining the younger brother, and it's like your first time, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I guess, you know, it prepares you mentally for the actual film itself.
It's a good like tension, like gets rid of the tension early in the beginning, so you just relax and you're free to go and
yeah. It's sort of puts your ego down a peg. You got stepped on. All right, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Well, yeah, I want to ask you, what first got you into film, and if film was like sort of your primary sort of idea in mind, or you had something else in mind?
See, bro, like when I was a kid, it was like my hobby was just watching films. I was literally watching at least a film a day. If not, sometimes I'd be adventurous. I'd watch 2 films a day. And like I was always, my dad was always just having films in the background. Like I'd be either doing schoolwork or I'd be in my room and I'd hear like a scene or a quote or like a theme. And I'd be like, okay, I know what that film is. If I like it, I'll go to the living room, I'll watch it. If it's like one of those films that my dad watches films like on repeat. You know what I mean? Like if he likes a film, he'll watch it 50 times over and over.
Yeah.
Like as like having a parent who just has movies in the background, like films are always part of my head. Also, like my earliest childhood memory is like I think seeing Star Wars in my living room at like 3 years old or some shit.
Yeah.
So like Batman Begins in the cinema when I was like 5.
Oh yeah.
I was running down the aisles, bro, because like ADHD kid as fuck, right? So I would stay in my seat and I would just walk down to the big screen and I would touch my hand on like the cinema.
Yeah, you run to the side.
Like, what kind of TV is this? LG, Samsung, it's so big. And I'd turn around and just like just people sitting, just eating nachos and like cheese, just looking, and then like seeing like a little kid like disturb, you know, the piece.
Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like,
get off the screen.
I remember I watch a lot of behind the scenes of like films, and I'd be like, you know what? I was really interested in like how movies were made, because in my head at the time I remember thinking like there's one formula for making a film. Like how do you make eggs? You crack it, you open it, you put salt and pepper, there's your eggs.
Yeah.
I thought filmmaking was, you know, and I didn't realize like every film's a case study, and it's kind of like making a film is kind of like your mini adventure.
Yeah.
So, I remember I was like 8 years old, and I was so into WWE.
Yeah, same.
Take my action figures, bro, and like I would have like John Cena and Undertaker like play out like stories, and I would record it on like old digital camera that would like you need to hit it a couple times for it to, you know, chuck it across the room to recharge 2 bars.
Yeah.
And I would like just record like short films. And I remember like I did my first proper like narrative when I was like 11. Garbage. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think our first one.
I don't show it to anyone, but I watch it and I laugh. And I laugh with my boy, and we're like, bro, what the fuck? But it's like I kind of realized you kind of need to do those garbage to get to places where it's like, okay, I've done enough garbage where I kind of know what I'm doing. You know
yeah. I mean? I think my first short film literally was in CJUP when I was 18, where basically we had a film course where I had to do a short film in the end of the year. And it's essentially that was the same year that Straight Outta Compton came out. So, you know, like the rap groups was fun. You know what I mean? Like, like the initial idea was a bunch of rap groups upbringing, whatever. And then, you know, something happens and then they sort of fall apart. But in the end, it ended up being some fucking horror story where essentially during the rap party, a girl overdoses in the basement. Okay. And then a bunch of kids, like the kids come back to the basement. They find a girl passed out, and so the whole plot of the film is trying to hide the body. And so they like sort of, you know, grumble her up in a cloth or whatever, put her inside the back of a car, and we literally went to a chalet in like a fucking middle of winter. It was mad cold, right, up north in Quebec, and so.
Bro, or this experience sounds too specific to be a film, bro. Are you telling
me? It's a short film. It's a short film we actually made.
It's a story of how he made a film.
So crazy. So yeah. So and like on the way there, we went to like a convenience store. We bought like a piece of like a leg, like a chop, lamb chop or something, and then we'd use that as like the limb, because essentially what they were doing is they're cutting off the body into little pieces, and they're putting it into cement blocks.
Oh my god, that was your first film?
That was my first film. I was a DP for that shit. So in the end, we went to a chalet for like 3 nights. Yeah, 2 nights, sorry. And then they sort of placed cement blocks and whatnot, and then they sort of put the piece of lamb inside of it. And afterwards, the last scene is basically them around a campfire, and then drinking like a Budweiser or whatever. It was the most fucking weirdest experience I ever had in my life. It was hilarious, man. Oh shit. Shit though. I mean,
it's like Clockwork Orange, but like modern day rappers.
Oh, it's hilarious. My teacher didn't even bother putting it on the playlist of the class
Why not?
films. Yeah, that show was mad gory, fam. Everyone is doing like, this cute sort of sci-fi film where like everyone's all weird and shit, and there's like this film about a dog, and then we have this fucking thing where girl overdoses. We go to a chalet trying to bury her bodies into blocks of cement. Like, it's fucked up.
Yeah, we had to do a short film. Like, it was like a short film competition for like our IB program, whatever. And it was like first term, so like people were just like submitting whatever films,
Yeah.
Like, bro, like 4 films were about like high school drama stories, like 13 Reasons Why kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And then like my film was just like a horror film about like a demon that kidnaps kids. Like, I basically took like real life trafficking and I made us like a horror, like
a horror film.
you know what I mean? Like, don't leave your kids alone because shit can happen. And like my teacher was like, it's a little scary. It doesn't fit the vibe that we're going for this, so I don't think we're gonna put it. And I was like, but we'll show it on the website link if you would like.
Yeah.
Cool, no problem. I'll just give people USB sticks.
Yeah. Post on social media real quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was your favorite genre of film? Well, filmmaking specifically, or you don't mind any?
Love all genres except romantic comedies.
Yeah. I feel like they sort of the same thing, so it's just the same thing over and over again.
Like, yeah, it's the same. Well, I mean, all films are kind of the same thing. Like, if you really break all films down, they enter like either these heroes, or like
react structures.
React structures. But romantic comedies, it's not even that the structure is the same. It's like the characters are the same, the beats are the same, the moments are the same. Like, how many times?
I mean, if you watch Kissing Booth and After, it's basically the same.
Oh, bro, my friend made me watch Kissing Booth when
I hated that film.
And they were like giggling and shit, and like the dude takes off their shirt, and that's like equivalent of like when Captain America gets the hammer. And
yeah.
And then I'm there like, fuck us. The movie's bad when you have to check your watch.
I didn't even bother watching. I skipped it. The first time in my life, I skipped films. I was on Netflix.
One came out. Like, respect to anyone who likes those movies, but it's just not for me. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean, what are your opinions on it? Do you watch it, Phil?
Oh, I've never seen those. No, I've heard of them extensively through you guys, but that's mostly it.
Like, if you watch After is basically like a very vanilla version of 50 Shades of Grey. It's just basically just like this. Like the storylines are borderline. Actually, not borderline. They are actually fucking illegal. Where it's just like it's dead ass like underage kids going out, and then like a dude like literally waits at the girl's dorm. As she comes out of the shower, like girl's fucking naked. Like, that's fucking trespassing. And like,
stand this underage, like, why? Like, even
very creepy.
Netflix came out with this like fucking weird stripper movie trying to like empower underage girls to like strip.
Which one? The one with J-Lo?
Bro, it was all over like social media. People were trying to like cancel it. I watched the trailer, bro. I watched 2 minutes of it. I'm like, hell no, I'm not watching
it. I'd rather watch Fast and Furious where the motherfuckers fly with cars.
9-year-olds shaking their ass and just, I don't even remember what they were wearing, bro. It was just traumatizing. I was like, Netflix is trying to see who a fucking pedo is on their accounts, bro. They're trying to
put people on watch lists.
Trying to expose people real quick.
Flag. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, what do you think about? There's also a topic we're talking about is what do you think about like big studio films and like how the big studios like Netflix, for example, would take like your ideas, for example, and then they would just sort of market it as like generic ass.
Well, the thing is, I feel like the movie industry, the film industry now is it's more complicated than it ever was.
Yeah.
Like before, back like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, it was literally like you have a script, you hold on to it, you get a producer who's down, and then they buy it off you, and it's like it enters like the studio system, and it's like majority of the time it works. Now it's like you really have to fucking pray, bro. You get your film to the guy. It's like if you sell it off, it might completely be something different.
Yeah.
Or like let's say they stick to your vision, and they completely market it as a different thing. So when people see your film, they're pissed off because they think they were gonna go watch something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But honestly, I feel like Netflix has helped a lot because it gives a lot of people opportunities who didn't have, they weren't in the same place before to get those studio deals. You know what I mean? So now it's like it's a lot easier to get your documentary or a short or a little animation thing you had going. It's like you don't have to wait for the right moment. It's like you go for it. You want this film out, you hit up these people, and if it's good, if people want to watch it, they will take it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that. The Netflix kind of serves a not necessarily just a niche, but a lot of niches and a lot of markets for people that have a specific type of thing that they want to tell or have told.
Yeah, and it doesn't.
People don't want to tell the stories themselves. They just want to, send it and have it done, right?
Exactly.
And yeah, I think that's what Netflix allows.
And like, I feel like, imagine if Netflix didn't exist, bro. We wouldn't have like big directors like Scorsese going to them and having complete creative control and doing like a 3-4 hour film if they wanted to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Imagine like people don't want to watch 4-hour movies in the cinema anymore, and also it's not good for theater businesses because theaters, like, the longer the movie is, they won't be able to play it as many times in the cinema and make as fill as many seats. So like that's why they try to go for that 1 hour 30 mark, you know, try to like get most of like the screen market.
Yeah.
I feel like Netflix, bro, it's like more freedom to the director, but at the same time, it's like there's always going to be that external control, like that you have to, I feel like, give away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's this thing I was talking about how often a lot of people like to be directors, but none want to be producers, which is
money, bro. You can be a director and not have the money, but like you can't be a producer if you don't have the money.
But the thing is about a producer though.
Bring the money into the production.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. Is you don't necessarily need to have the money yourself. You just have to find people who have the money.
You just have to be the financer, get the finances there.
That's why, in a sense, as a director, it's great to have to create a vision, like a sort of a simulation of what you want the actual product to look like, and so present that to like it's basically like the same thing as a company to invest. To find an investor, you just basically you lay out the foundation of what you want.
Say like the director is like the head chef and like the producer is just the owner of the kitchen, you know, just because he knows how to get all the fucking throws and all the like spices doesn't mean he knows how to put it together and make a tasty meal. That's what the director is supposed to do. He's supposed to envision the meal how it is and complete and deliver it to you in execution. The producer is supposed to make sure all the important necessities are there and met, and also can give external input. But like you also know, bro, there's a lot of producers who just, but this is in the big like leagues. Independent producers get involved a lot, but like in the big industry, producers sometimes just put their name on it just to promote the film. You know what I mean? Like
DJ Khaled type shit.
Christopher Nolan, produced by Michael Bay, and like these guys probably like went to set once just to be like, hello. You know,
yeah, like, I mean, like, I feel like those people are the same thing. Like, you know, whenever you watch a film that has a producer of like for example, Brightburn is a perfect example where it's produced by James Gunn, but it's not directed by him, right?
Yeah.
Where a lot of people often, when they saw produced by James Gunn, they had this sort of idea of what the film was going to look like, and it did not look like.
But that's a whole marketing thing. That's one thing we have to remember is marketing teams are not related to production. They're just an external group that takes the footage and decides to market it a certain way.
Yeah, it's essentially it's the business part of the industry.
Yeah,
but
it's not even like the production at all.
Exactly. When you check the budget of a film, and like sometimes they're crazy. It says like 300 million, 400 million.
Yeah.
That does not include the marketing costs that had to go into it.
Yeah.
So that's always like an external 50, 100 mil. Like let's say Disney put out like a 30-second spot on the Super Bowl. And you know how much a Super Bowl fucking thing costs? That's like additional $1 million for a minute. That doesn't go into the budget at all.
Well, that's why you have the team of distributors and producers. There's two different factions in the sense where that's why often big production studios, they partner up with a distribution company essentially to have them sort of market it however they want. They often create the trailers that look like absolute, like legendary shit, and when you watch the film itself, it's garbage. I mean,
people get mad at directors or the team for making the trailers, and it's like, bro, like they're making the trailers when they're like a third way into the movie already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unrelated. The director has probably not seen the trailer before it comes out.
Like one of the big directors like Nolan, Tarantino, then I think you have your own team, or you have final say over the final trailer. But like even then, bro, like
even then, I don't know.
I mean, Feige has 100% control over or at least Disney has control over it because they can't spoil shit. Like
but also
they have complete control over spoilers at least. But
it doesn't spoil his films. Like if you watch Nolan's trailers, they're basically just teasers. Long takes with Hans Zimmer music just to give you the tone, and it's like you really have no idea what's going on.
My favorite one was Aquaman. When you watch Aquaman, the trailer is basically the entire movie.
Yeah, they gave you the movie in like 2 minutes and a half.
I was dying. I was like, what the fuck is this? Why am I watching it?
Aquaman short I've ever seen.
But yeah, no, it's essentially the mini short of the actual big film. But
the suit, they show you how he gets they show you the final battle and how he wins. They show you how he loses. Like it's like I'm seeing all the most important beats in the movie right now.
Yeah. Right. Like, who gives a shit about the backstory? I don't need a backstory, bro. He's from the water. He's born of
the water.
They spoiled it. It's like this Aquaman movie is also like a prequel, right? To Justice League, or it takes place after Justice League?
It's after Justice League.
How the fuck did he get a suit in Justice League?
Because the trident, he had a trident from Justice League in the beginning of Aquaman. So
right, okay, bro. Those movies were so confusing.
That's why he had a new suit afterwards. You know what I mean? He had a new golden suit in Aquaman.
Yeah, you guys saw pictures of Shazam's new suit?
Yeah.
Who's making these new suits for these superheroes?
I don't know.
They have like the Little Incredibles lady with no capes and shit. Is there like one in the DC world where she's just made? Because bro, Superman upgrades his suits in every film, and you're like, does that ship really have other versions of the suit?
Well, it's kind of like like it's funny because in the Marvel universe, there's a logic to the suit upgrades, right? Because you know who does it.
They say it's like Tony has money, Tony does everything.
So there's the logic to it, but you watch this shit.
Well, you don't think about the upgrades, but it's like when it's like a guy like fucking Superman and he gets an upgrade on his belt, and it's like, did you stitch that yourself, bro? Or like,
when did you do that?
The alien ship from his father. He has a bunch of suits there. It's a whole wardrobe.
Yeah, that's true.
How was his suit black in Justice League?
It's
because
it's from mourning. I guess it's to mimic sort of symbolize the return of his death.
Yeah,
in the comics, but why did it make sense in the movie? You know what I mean?
I think the movie was an homage to that.
Yeah.
I think, and
there's a lot of homages in
probably where it ends.
Same thing with the sort of running back in time shit, where he's like,
that was cool. I'm not gonna lie, that was very cool.
Fucking start running like all fucking weird and shit. You know what I mean? Like
the run was strange, but the scene is probably one of the best Snyder has ever directed.
I was like, what the fuck's going on, bro? This guy tripping. He's about to trip, bro. He's about to trip. I was like waiting for him to just fall. It'd be hilarious. But yeah.
The thing I don't like is it kind of looks too rubbery. Like,
yeah.
The CGI, or if they're actually shooting him in slow-mo, but it's just the texture just looks like
Black Magic Pocket 6K is good.
Yeah.
You shoot that shit on raw, you know what I mean? Yeah. But speaking of, you're shooting music videos, no?
Yeah, I shoot right now. I'm doing anything that's related to videography. So if I get a commercial or some guy wants to do a music video, I'll do it, you know.
Well, what is the toughest part of the toughest process of directing for you?
Toughest part?
Like, say, is it like directing the actual actors, or is it more the camera movement? Is it what you want it to look like?
Honestly, bro, I think really the toughest part is to remembering hit record most of the times.
Oh, damn. I mean, that's bad. That's really bad.
It's happened where I thought I was recording, and I'm like, that was the shot. And then I go home and I'm going through my footage and I can't find the clip that I want.
Stress.
You know what I mean? That's probably the tough. I think realizing that I didn't get enough coverage is probably the toughest part.
Yeah. And
dealing with people who think they're the shit is probably the toughest part.
Yeah, especially in the music business.
I'm really good with like working and like interacting with people. But if I'm working with someone who doesn't want to work with others, then it becomes an issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, like I have no filter. I think that's the toughest part, having no filter as a
I find, it's funny because like as a person, I don't have no filter, but like in like like when I'm doing like film, I'm like really passive. Like I'm really passive aggressive. It's crazy. It's like during the film, I suck my pride in. Like I shut the fuck up. Like it's just we do this for the.
Yeah, you don't want to be pissing people off left and right, but like I'm talking about like extreme scenarios where like you're dealing with like a diva, and you're like, bro,
Yeah.
Oh, I'm being paid like $500 for this.
Yeah, man. Like
act like you're
like fucking Hugo, man. Fucking
PO.
Comes in here with his little French accent. No, but yeah, no, I get that. It's back in before I started NewCrown, I started working with like a bunch of like these people from Concordia and all that stuff, and I met a lot of people from especially film productions because we're all film studies, so we're all beneath them. You know what I mean? But I was talking to a bunch of them, and there was like that is weird aura around them where they're sort of like, oh, because I made it, I am so the shit. And then when you see their final product, you're like, wow, okay, this is the shit level, yeah. I mean,
honestly, bro, I realized that the Concordia film production group is mostly like it's very 50-50. There's a lot of good guys. I know a lot of good guys, but it's like it's mostly they want something different. You know, it doesn't have to be good. They just want different.
Yeah,
and it's like
they're high on experimental.
Yeah, that was the word I was looking for. It's very like
that's what the uni really loves, though. So it's I understand that a lot of these students end up doing that because they know that's what pleases, and that's probably how they got in as well. Most of the times by being experimental types.
Yeah, like I have a friend he's Iranian. He came from Iran, and now he's a gaffer in Toronto. And when he was in production at Concordia, like a lot of his demo work was just like models dancing on a background drop. But his lighting was so good, and that's the reason he got in. You know what I mean? And like I was talking to this girl, and she showed me her demo, and like it was good, it was great, but it was just her performing on a one take wide angle.
Right.
There was nothing that was like filmmaking that I really
I think I have a funnier one even. So there's a person I met in film prod. He's great.
Wow.
Props to him.
The tone is already fucking sarcastic. It's hilarious.
No, really. But he told me at some point, like he was doing like one of his first film prod projects, and he said, "Yeah, this is my first film." So I asked him, "How did you get in then? You didn't submit any films?" And he said, "No, I made a bit of music on SoundCloud."
Yo.
And I don't know why, but I was speechless after that. I don't know, but I was quite surprised.
Wait, no video, no music video,
films.
No music video.
No. It was just music, no video. He had not done video before.
Damn, we got a lot of money then. Yeah, it's such bullshit. You know, when you walk into like the film prod.
I'm confused now because that makes me think that that's SoundCloud. Because I applied, I put like production as my
mad work, yeah,
as my second, and then animation as my third. I should have put animation as my second.
Yeah,
and like that makes so that means a kid with a SoundCloud link had higher like ratings than my fucking portfolio. You know what I mean?
And like, yeah, it really puts things into perspective.
Yeah, my teacher had like she took control of my portfolio in like senior year, and like because I had no idea what to do with a demo reel at the time. I was like, I didn't even know what a demo reel was. So I really just submitted like a 5-minute action scene from one of my stuff. Like looking back at it now, I'm like, of course these guys said no. They want colors and rainbows and dances and crying. I gave them a fight scene. They're not gonna say yes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they want James Gunn, bro. They want James Gunn. They don't want no Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
But
experimental. Like
the what? What was that?
James Gunn's not even that experimental though.
No, he's not. But like, there's a lot of colors in it. There's a lot of colors, and there's a lot of music. So SoundCloud is up here.
SoundCloud.
Little pump. Bro. That's what they want.
Yeah. I mean, what is the actually because you two are director Ali. So what is your directing style, or what do you classify yourself as directing style?
What? Tell me the directing styles. What are they?
Well, I mean, like, are you more sort of traditional, where you're sort of methodical, where you're very sort of to a
You
T,
make
or
storyboards.
yeah,
Okay, when it comes to films I'm working on, it's different. When it comes to my own films,
yeah, yours.
I get the first I do a whole
Storyboard.
exploration page of what the film is and what I want from the characters, the story, the beats, what kind of film this is. Sometimes I do like this film is a mix match between this old classic and this film, and like to give her like just to give the reader an idea of like what the tone is going to be. And then then after that I have the script. After the script, I do a couple revisions, and then I'm a little traditional with how I do shot lists and storyboards, but I'm not very strict on them on the day of the shoot. So you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'll probably shoot them first and get them out of the way because that'll be the baseline I have in my head. So worst case, I can always go down to the base idea I have of the film, but I always let room for something that might happen on set. So I won't really stick to it, but it's just a plan. You know what I mean? And if someone gives me an idea that I'll be like, oh, this is amazing, I'll add it in for sure, and I'll move shit around. I'll be pretty flexible, you know. Like
Yeah.
honestly, we kind of have very similar directing styles. Like
Yeah. So yeah, it's more sort of the way I describe it. It's sort of improvised directing, where it's sort of like I let it up. I trust each group, each department to know what they're good at, and sort of from there I take elements and I tweak them a bit, kind of like for our choreography, sort of just like I mean it from where it was to where it is now. There's a lot of tweaking involved, but I mean it looks solid. Like initially it kind of looked like some anime cartoon shit there, but no, I think it's solid, and with the help of camera angles and all that stuff, it's good to mask it. So having a good DP and having a good sort of camera, good camera really helps to sort of mask all the shit, all the punches, all the kicks. Jesus Christ, Phil's gonna kick someone in the face. It's gonna be hilarious. I'm gonna get this on video.
How's your relationship with your DP?
I think my current relationship with like Hugo, for example, yeah.
Like, how do you like to?
No, just ADP.
Oh, we're just ADP.
Like, how do you get to the process of setting up the camera, getting the shot you envisioned, but also listening to what your cinematographer thinks the shot should be like? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, essentially, I have a sort of shot list in mind, or a specific shot in mind. I describe in the shot, also like try and find like sort of reference, from like online or whatever, and sort of show them what the mood I'm aiming for. So, for example, for Come In, the first film, the first short film that well, not really, one of the four short film I directed, there was a scene where essentially it's kind of like an interview, where it kind of looks a lot like if you watch the Peaky Blinders, like the sort of type of vibe was sort of dark-ish and like somber. So I sort of shown that to my DP. I'm like, okay, I know exactly what kind of lighting you need, where the camera's gonna be, and then from there, I sort of take their perspective on how I should film it. So like, if I say, I want it to be somber, and then it's like, yeah, but it's best to have more lighting, for example. I'd be like, oh yeah, okay, let's go with a higher lighting. And so I kind of trust the DP knows what they're doing. I'm not like a dickhead, be like, no, I want remove all that shit. In a sense, it's kind of a fail safe. So if the movie's shit, I'd be like, yeah, he's the dickhead who fucking who recommended it to me. So blame him. I put in the credits where it's like, yo, he's the DP, yeah. Blame him. But yeah, no, I feel like it's sort of just like kind of like the makeup artist, like well, unfortunately she couldn't really come in for this shoot there, but for our previous shoots, it's kind of the same thing. I give her like the sort of the idea,
and you let her
just fucking and then she asked me like, oh, what do you want? More shadow, a little more this or that. I'm like, yeah, just a little bit tweak. And so from there, I sort of gauge. Same thing with like the writer's process, for example, when Phil was like, I asked Phil to write a story, kind of like give him the tone of it, and then have him fucking have fun with it. So it's kind of like,
so Phil, you're the one who does the revis, right? You do the scripts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very much.
He's the script doctor.
I'm the script writer and doctor, and
stuff to you then, so I know the. I know
for sure. It's for me. I've talked about this previously with Darryl, but script writing, screenwriting in general is kind of one of my foremost callings when it comes to the industry.
Really, because that's honestly when it comes to script writing, that's my hardest part. Like I'm aware of all the rules. I know how to make the script like format. You know what I mean? I know how to sit down and write a story, but it's like
ADHD's too strong.
Oh, it's too fucking strong, man. I'm very good at taking an established and tweaking parts to really like the moments like that really hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
Good, I'll make it great, but I can't come up with the basic template of my story that I want. I have like all these like ideas that I try to like explore and break down over like a fucking like 100-page script.
Right.
And it takes me like months to get it done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every time I write it, I'll have to start from the beginning because I want to like watch the film in my head as I'm reading it, right?
Yeah.
Or like scene, I'll start the scene from the beginning, and every time I start from the beginning, I'll be like, it's gonna be better if I do this. It's gonna be better if I
Right.
And I'm always improving it, but it's never done. So it's never like, okay.
I get what you mean. I totally get that. It's hard to start, and it's hard to end.
Exactly.
And yeah, it's hard to look at a finished thing and say, okay, I'm done touching it up, or it's now I can submit it in full confidence and never go back on anything, because you gotta, you know, because you gotta love what you make, or else it won't be good. So when you let it go, you really have to let it go completely.
Yeah. Every time I write a script, I'm like, the film in my head is good, but this script is shit. You know what I mean? I can't send this to anyone. You know what I mean? Like,
you gotta bury it.
Burn it.
I think it's a problem I had for this one. I had because I wrote the script essentially. I had basically everything in mind, but then when I wrote it prior to the choreography, so I didn't know what the choreography was gonna look like. And after the choreography, I was like, shit, there's a lot of places where I could insert like a dialogue or like a funny joke or whatever. I could like, create a moment of tension. And so that's why when I rewrote I reformatted the script, I started reading everything else before. I'm like, fuck. So I have to actively sort of restrain myself from changing stuff. Because I'm like, I can't change this whole thing. Because if I change this, I'll have to change everything else afterwards. So I'm like, it's kind of changing. Like if you change one cog, you're gonna change the whole fucking mechanism.
That's what I'm good at. Is when I change one cog, I'm very good at like removing all the other pedals and adjusting them. But it's like starting the first gear to rotate the second gear is my like I can come in and oil the gears up and make them better, but I can't like get it going.
I feel like to me there's kind of an inherent poetry to words and description that allows when I'm writing something, I really think of the visual aspect and the character that bleeds out from the page, right? You feel like you understand a person that exists, even if they're only a piece of paper, right? And I think that's something that I'm particularly interested in. So that's why that, along with acting and directing, are really my callings.
I feel like theater, Phil.
Yeah, he's a theater kid.
Yeah. I did theater for 3-4 years, I suppose. Cégep. And I really enjoyed it. And it's definitely something that I've kept with me to this day, really. It's something that helps me in almost every single film I've made since.
I have a question for you guys. When you guys write a script, for example, do you guys have a beat in mind? Like a sort of like, because I'm so used to like writing in music, so that when I write in the script, I have like the number of syllables have to match.
Like a beat like that, or do you mean like film beats, like moments in the film?
There's a film like there's also like the
that too, sequences.
Yeah, the sequences.
But there's also rhythm. I agree with that. When I write, in particular, the last thing that I directed,
Fly.
my short film Fly,
Yeah.
there's a very intentional rhythm to every scene, and there's kind of like a return to that rhythm by the end. I don't want to like say too much, but Darryl in particular, you would know what I'm talking about, where there's like a 1, 2, 3, 4 when it starts,
Yeah.
and then it gets slower and it ends with another 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like, I don't know if do you guys when you guys write a film, for example, you guys have a specific rhythm in mind, you know, like.
Yeah, most of the time, yes.
I add structure, like sequence structure to my films when I feel like what I'm trying to get at is also served by it. You know what I mean? Like when I first think of like a film or like something I want to do, it's like what are the moments or the beats that I'm trying to emphasize? Like, why are people watching this short or why are people watching this film, right? Like, you ever watch a film and you're like, I got nothing out of this? Like, I look back to and I want to
Tenet?
talk about. Like, there moments in film are supposed to be times when you leave the cinema, you and your buddies are immediately talking about that scene, and then you move on to the next beat.
Yeah.
That scene. So why are you talking about it? You know what I mean? Because those things are what the film was trying to get at you. So it's like,
yeah.
Top of that, once those moments are what you get at, then is it good to add some kind of structure to your film that support those moments?
Right, build up.
Exactly.
And how you want to structure, where's your climax, and
so I do think about like first act, second act, third act, but also like I don't try to stick to those rules. Like me and Hugo were like, I remember we were debating like
oh yeah, the 180 rule. Yeah, the 180 rule.
Stick to film rules at all because these are just like guidelines. It's like just to have it make sense.
Yeah.
But if you already like, there's an intention going to have it not make sense for the follow up, then I really don't see the point of sticking to rules. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like I like one act, second act, third act, but it's like we've done that so many times, and like I will change up the structure if it fits the film I'm trying to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
right.
Well, yeah, for the 180 rule, that's why I wanted to make sense when it switches. And so that's why I like making the sort of kind of anime-esque when you guys are revolve the camera around the fighters when they're doing some shit. Like it's basically like the same concept where I wanted
it's almost, I'll say, a fighting game type of like perspective on some of the fight sequences that we're doing.
Yeah.
So, you guys like I watched a lot of Jackie Chan, like
same
Chinese films, and like even in anime, like in fight scenes, the 180 rule is broken a lot because when you're following someone, you're following for like motion or make sense of where things are. But when it's like a hit or something impactful or a moment happens and it's like it switches from left frame to right side of frame, it's no longer that now you have to guide yourself. It's like, oh, okay, it's there. That's important. You know what I mean? It's places. So now your brain has to focus. It's switched. It's gonna distract you, but as long as it's intentional, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like 180 rule should not be broken for dialogue because you're looking. Oh, he's talking to him, then to her. He's talking to him, then to her. It's like a 10. It's going back and forth.
Yeah.
But when it's a fight scene, it's like you said, there's beats and sequences even within fights. So it's like pa pa pa. Okay, now it doesn't have to go pa 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 again. It can switch. It can go to another rhythm. You know what I mean? It's just like you're just getting information in that has to like hit you. It doesn't have to be followed.
Yeah.
So like to some things, like it's okay to break it as long as like the reason for breaking it makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly Essentially having, for example, when after a sort of a massive fight, for example, there's a reaction, like when Jackie Chan does this weird shit there, or Bruce Lee, for example, and then you have like a cut to a different character, but they're doing it from the same angle.
Yeah, something, or like like, happens a lot. Yeah.
So I'm like in a sense, with action it's a lot easier to sort of I guess direct. Well, not really, but it's like the camera wise, a lot easier to just sort of flow it around.
Forward.
Yeah. There's no like proper structure of how to film a action scene as long as it goddamn looks good.
Honestly, bro, it's literally an action scene is literally like a comedy setup or a horror a good horror jump scare. It's
well,
like
yeah, they're all the same timing.
like
Yeah,
time
there's
setups, you know, like there has to be like a, because one, it's not dialogue. It's not like you're learning information through like audio. You're visually supposed to follow something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like
yeah.
it can't just have no structure and not make any sense.
Well, I feel like that's why most horror, comedy, and action sequences have somewhat of a Chekhov's gun, kind of like a element that comes back. It's a a clear suspense generating thing, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like that's why directors like Sam Raimi are known for meshing horror with comedy,
Yeah.
and even action as well.
Like it's the comedy and horror. Like you ever watch a shitty horror film and the jump scare didn't scare you, but it made you laugh?
Yeah.
The follow
It's the same thing. Yeah, the same timing.
There's an odd
the same
overlap.
Yeah. It's like kind of weird. Like try watching horror films on silent and they're comedy shows.
Yeah, it is. It is very much. It's like Charlie Chaplin type thing.
And a weird anorexic zombie girl just making weird like hand moves and just following the camera. You're like, that's no longer scary without the music and like the fucking like sound effects. Honestly, like sound really makes a film.
Yeah. Oh, well, there's the. I want to end it off with that. What do you guys think about the sort of the soundtracks on action films? How to like they sort of hype up the actual action and sort of complement the action scene. Because for example, if you like for like in sort of Captain America or whatever, any like action film, there's often like a suspense music or there's a build up music that sort of match the rhythm of the fight scene.
Orchestral or dramatic.
Yeah, or even just like like straight up rap music or whatever, EDM or whatever. Like in John Wick, for example, when they're fighting in the nightclub, there's like a whole
right.
Well, sort of
the way I look at sound and music and film is like a texture. It adds something, a dimension, and so it's a color that you're putting throughout.
Yeah,
you have to choose it wisely. It has to complement your image or completely have a dissonance with it.
Contrast
to another tone. And yeah, I think that's very, very important too. If you're placing in music, then have it have purpose.
Yeah, I feel like like it could ultimately become it could turn an action scene from a tense moment to a comedy, kind of like in Amazing Spider-Man, where like they're in the library and there's like classical music playing or whatever, and he's just jumping off.
It has to be context. You have to like have it thought out like thoroughly, because like look at the fight scene in Dark Knight Rises between Batman and Bane. There's no at all, but it's still like Christopher Nolan didn't have the best stunt choreo guys. Like the fight scenes in the trilogy weren't the best, but like the Bane and Batman
fight was very tense.
Was tense because of no music. You know what I mean? Like I saw some guy on YouTube who added like an edit to it. He put like a Hans Zimmer background and made the scene more like heroic.
Yeah.
Like yeah, let's go Batman, but it took away.
It takes away the point.
It actually was, it's like you're supposed to be on the edge of your seat, not knowing if he's gonna win this one, and comics, if any Batman story, he's not gonna win. But I remember watching it for the first time. The lack of I thought I was in space. You could hear people eating the nachos.
Yeah.
Fuck, is he gonna make it and shit? You know what I mean? It's like it was more no music added more tension.
Yeah, it's stress.
Yeah.
I feel like Phil said, you have to have every choice, especially with sound. The sound is so important because you put the wrong sound, it'll make you feel a different way. You know what I mean?
You'll notice. You will notice. I heard someone say once, you don't notice good sound. It's just part of the environment, but you notice bad sound.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So essentially, for the actual fight scenes, grunting is a good thing. It's like a dead silent fight. You're just like, oh. It's like some fucking like it's so rehearsed. It has to be real.
Right.
But yeah. Ultimately, I think we've assessed how action films ultimately is kind of like a dance. It essentially is a dance with actual music in the background, where you match a sort of rhythm to an actual action. Granted, it could be completely fucked if one aspect of the filmmaking process completely just like goes to shit. And I think we could end it here. It is good. You have any questions?
Good.
All right. Well, it's been Darryl.
And Phil.
And it's been your boy. Yeah. It's been your boy Ali. Our films are coming out later this year, and yeah, man, fucking excited. Yo, I have not had a break since today, man. Honestly. But yeah, see you next time. Hopefully, we'll this whole COVID shit is done. We could actually shoot late at night and fucking do a bunch of crazy shit at the same time.
Yeah, we'll have more opportunities as the year comes along.
Because a new variant just came up, and I swear to God, if it fucking locks down again next year, I'm gonna lose my shit.
I'm going to Florida, bro.
Yo, inshallah, man.
Miami, bro. No way. Hold up.
Yo, lockdown number 3. I'm done, bro. I'm fucking done.
In the cage with the virus, bro. 1-on-1. I swear to God.
All right, man. Peace.
Goodbye.